You're locked into the only podcast for Maine high school basketball. The biggest names, past and present. It's Big Time Hoops, the podcast, right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Big Time Hoops, the podcast. And we're diving back into player rankings, power rankings, the girls edition this time. And we got the man back, Trophy Mode back with his exclusive player rankings, power rankings, the girls edition here on Big Time the podcast. Trophy Mode, how much time and effort did you put into this? How much were you sweating this? What was the workload like getting this one ready?
I reached out to some people that have been working with a lot of the girls that are on these lists, and try to get their feelings on where I had people place. Took their word for who should be up a little further. Tried to get a feel for some of the names that I have on here and their games and how they've been, the work that they've been putting in and how their skills are progressing. Trying to get everybody their due. So there's a little bit of work to it, but I put in a lot of this work after the last high school season, and have adjusted it based on some of the things I've seen. And I think we're pretty near where pretty good list, came together pretty well. So I think we're good to go.
So you saw a lot of these girls play this summer through the various camps and AAU and stuff like that. How much of the rankings changed from the end of the season to the work that was done over the summer? Has there been a lot of fluctuation in these rankings, or has it stayed pretty solid?
I think it stayed pretty solid. I mean, a lot of the kids that work hard, they continue to work hard, so they keep themselves, they're always in competition with themselves to get better. I don't think they're really thinking about being in competition with each other too much, other than on the court. But we haven't put out rankings before. I know that there's some rankings some new rankings popped up on a New England prep girls site this summer. But I think mostly they're concerned with themselves, just making improvement to their own game, and helping their teams have team success. So
one thing you noticed when we were doing the boys edition is, we thought with a couple of the top boys in the what would have been the senior class departing, that maybe the senior class wasn't as strong as it could have been. But after looking at it, there was a lot more depth to it. Did you discover anything when going through your rankings? Did you see anything that maybe you didn't notice at first when it comes to the girls' side?
I mean, I think there's a lot of guard depth through a lot of these classes. And I feel like the incoming sophomore class really has some high level players, just like on the boys side. And they've got some height and some wings and some guards. So they've got kind of that mix throughout. Whereas this year's senior class is really some athletic wings. And, I think you could call Emily Archibald a big, but she plays inside out. I mean, she's not stuck in the post. So, I feel like that sophomore class, again, for whatever reason, people produced some athletes that year. So
I'm anxious to see how it all plays out. I mean, when it comes to the girls' side, there's definitely never ever just shortage of talent, right? Like the state has always done an excellent job of producing girl basketball players in the state. And looking at these classes that we're about to go over, classes 21, 22, 23, depth, right? Just continues to be there, just talent. And it's not just located in the South. You got all kinds of talent in the Central. There's always been some players that have come out of the North. And that trend just seems to be continuing, I would say, right?
Yeah, I would say the lists on the girls' side are deeper than the boys' side. I could go down and find you very solid players that are going to make, all conference, all-star teams very easily, and score double figures in tournament games. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case on the boys' side. I could go down, 30, 40, 50 deep and still find people that other coaches are going to be worried about in their game plan. So
I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I think that the boys' style might have been a little bit more predictable. The girls might be a little bit more unpredictable, especially when we get to your top 15 overall. So we're going to do it the way we did last time. We're going to break down the class of 21, 22, 23, and we're just going to do two regions this time. We're going to do the North, which would be what? What's your borderline for North-South?
It's actually going to be Lewiston North, and I know that seems strange for people in the North, but they're in the North in the actual rankings, and there's just a lot, Brunswick and below for talent. So that's what we're going with when we go for the region rankings.
So we're going to go class 21, 22, 23. We're going to break it down by North and South. Then we're going to have the top 15 overall across the entire state, regardless of class, and hit on some fun topics like we did last time as well. So with that, let's just jump right into it. The class of 2021, deep, right? A bunch of talent at the very top. Let's start with the North. Let's just run through your top 10, and then we'll pick a couple players out of there.
The North. Let's go with. Well, this is overall in the North. So I had JC Christopher as my top player in the North. She is going to be a junior this year from Skowhegan. Incredible scorer. Can score from 3 levels, and has been doing that since her freshman year. Just a very impressive player, and I think this could be a breakthrough year in team success for Skowhegan for her. So,
number 2, who we got?
I got Lizzie Gruber, who is a big sophomore for Gardner. Probably in the 6'2", 6'3" range. Incredible shot blocker. Can step out and hit a 3 though, which is great to see for somebody at her age. That can score and is really tough in the post as well, but can already step out and hit that 3 ball, which will be great for her college prospects.
Number 3.
Number 3, this was, we were talking about risers and people that had make a big jump. I think she might have been battling an injury or something last year for Oxford Hills, but I got Sierra Carson. She was first time I'd ever really seen her play extensively was at Ben Tier's Top 30 camp. And she was just for younger players, she was definitely the most aggressive to getting to the basket. She was just fearless as far as in transition, and she almost always finished some incredibly tough angles and going through contact at the rim. So I looked for her to be a serious slasher threat for Oxford Hills, who has a phenomenal program and a couple gold balls in a row now, and she'll be looking to keep that going.
Yeah, and I know Ben's been excited about her as well. He says that people they don't know how good she is and how good she can be, they're going to see this year with a bigger role, right?
Yeah. I mean, they had Julia Colby last year, who was just tremendous and a super clutch player. And they have talent up and down the roster, but I think just her athleticism is really going to give her a chance to shine. And their coach is really good at pushing the right buttons and putting his kids in the best position to succeed. And then achieve team success through that. So
absolutely. Let's go number 4. And so far, our top 3 scattered all over the place too. And that's what I like it. They're not just concentrated in one area. They're all over the place. So who you got number 4?
Yeah, we're continuing that trend. We're going to move around. I got a incoming senior, Peyton Grant from Dexter. Very strong career playing for her father, Jody Grant. Our teams have always been in the mix. And she is a great shooter. Can really knock down the 3 ball. Physical defender. Just a very solid all around game. So I got her at number 4.
Number 5, who you got?
I got Emily Strawn from Lewiston. Really, really talented player. She's very strong off the bounce. A nice pull-up jumper, can hit the 3. Nice, physical strength. It's going to, I think, allow her to have a strong college career. I think she's just committed to Central Maine to play for them, and I think she'll do really well in their system, going forward. So,
Right. Number 6 in the North, who you got?
moving over to Washington County with Sophie McVicker. Had a sister that's played at UMaine and did really well there, and I think she's continuing to carry on that family tradition at Calais. Really strong scorer, really good defender again. I think her dad has been very instrumental in his daughter's affinity for the game and their overall talent. So I got Sophie McVicker at number 6.
Another girl who was at the tier camp this summer and made the All-Star team there, along with a handful of other girls you've already named. Moving along, number 7, who you got?
Grace Wayner from Messalonsky. She's a big wing. I think that her body, she's continuing to put on strength, and I think she'll be a good college prospect as her career moves along. But you could just with her length alone and her skill level, she's going to be a big time player for Messalonsky, just like her sister, who just has played her first game for Monmouth at the D1 level this week. So.
Absolutely. Forgot what number we're number 7, number 8. I lost track.
7. We're at number 8.
7. My bad.
Yeah, we're at number 8, and I got Glory Gleason from Booth Bay, another long, tall athlete whose sister is currently playing at George Washington and doing and starting for them. And she's in the same mold, just long. She's tough to get around defensively. Can score from all over the court as well.
A lot of good bloodlines in the North, right? It's like 4 in a row. Number 9, who you got?
Number 9, another in the same case. I got Allie from Stearns. Great guard, great scoring guard, terrific threat on the ball. She gets where she wants to on the floor. Can shoot from really deep. Great finish, just strong finishing skills around the basket, despite not being the biggest of players. And carrying on the family name there. Her dad was one of the better scorers in Maine history, and she's had several, I think 3 sisters in front of her that have all had strong careers in the Stearns program.
And last one, number 10 for the North.
I got Hannah Richards from Old Town. Another just well-rounded player, tough, and is really going to be the backbone of Old Town and where they hope to go as a team this year.
So 10 players in the North, scattered all over the place, all different positions, all different types of games, but just well-rounded and different grades, right? Like it's not grade heavy in terms of like a lot of seniors or juniors. It's pretty much spread out.
Yeah, a good mix of sophomores, juniors, and seniors in that group, which is what you want to see as far as keeping that talent level high as the years pass. So.
Maybe give me a couple of names of people that are under the radar that can maybe creep into that top 10. The North is big, it's vast, it's a lot of land up there.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple. I got Macy Beals from Central Aroostook.
Baller.
Love watching her play. Very fearless. I remember that. I think the first time I watched her play, she was either a freshman or a sophomore, and I feel like she was pulling up from like 25, 27 feet. And I just, she's not very big, and I just couldn't believe that, and she was knocking them down. And so she's a threat to score from anywhere on the floor, and really helped that Central Aroostook team, as they marched to the gold ball last year under Dylan Kingsbury. So.
Yeah, I remember watching that entire run for Central Aroostook and just being very, very impressed with her. So great name right there. Maybe one more. Give me one more name under the radar.
I'm going to go up to the county again. I'm going to go with Faith Schoberg from Presque Isle, another tough scoring guard. She's a knockdown foul shooter, 3-point shooter. and the long line of Prescott guards to come through there that just you can't leave open, or they're gonna kill you. So
Yeah.
Coburg.
It's one thing Prescott has always done well on top of winning is just produce great guards, right? And that's continuing with her right there. So let's jump to the South. So this is going to be Lewiston South in terms of the map where it's divided, and no shortage of talent in the South. I'm guessing here for your top 10. Let's start with number 1. And I'm curious who you pick because there's a lot of different options here, and where you can go with this.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with last year's Gatorade Player of the Year, Emily Archibald, who's committed to Providence, and just I think if you had to pick one player that that would be the hardest to game plan against, it would be her. As far as having a player on your team that's physical, big enough to contest her. And then, she doesn't need the ball to score because she's so big and she's going to get offensive boards and putbacks, even if you're double, triple teaming her. And she's just so skilled. She can make plays for other people from the high post. She can shoot the 3 ball. She can take it off the dribble from the 3-point line, even as one of the bigger players in the state. And obviously the college coaches that recruited her, obviously see something and feel like she can provide something at the Big East level, which is, big time for players coming from Maine. So
Absolutely.
I got Emily Archibald number 1, which it was a tough call, tough call for me because we all have, people that we love their games and their style of play. But I feel like, people that voted for her last year and with her college recruiting, and her team success as well, all combined to put her at number 1.
Yeah, you mentioned Gatorade Player of the Year last year as a junior. That's very rare. Has a chance to go back to back, could be Miss Basketball, and just add to that trophy case before she heads off to Providence. So, excellent choice there. Number 2, curious here because it could be a pair of teammates you split between. It could be someone in Greeley that could go here. I'm curious who you're going number 2.
I got Amanda Kabatu, number 2, who's committed to Bentley, and she's an incoming senior at Portland. And for me, and this what I get done saying, as far as my preference as far as my rankings go, her attitude and effort just puts her there in the state of Maine right now. She's just the most relentless player in the state. I've never seen a guard that rebounds like her, or goes as hard when she decides to go to the basket. I've never seen anybody that can just put the pedal down and get there. And she has a tremendous pull-up jumper, gets great elevation, similar to, some pictures that you might see of an NBA player where you just can't believe that they're off the floor that far. She really gets great elevation on her jump shot. She's got a great crossover. But just her energy level and her will is just, I feel is unmatched in Maine. And I feel like Portland fell just short last year against Oxford Hills. And I feel like she, if anybody's going to, deliver that extra edge this year in the AA region, it's going to be her. So.
Someone who's probably just scratching the surface in terms of potential, right? Just someone who's continuing to get better and better and is nowhere near a finished product, I would think, right?
Yeah, I feel like she's really put in the work to, with as much raw athleticism as she has. I feel like she's been putting in the work and with the Firecrackers program, and unfortunately they didn't get to play AU, which probably is somewhat detrimental in progression, but I'm sure she's still been putting in work. And I feel like when she gets to a program like Bentley, which is a high level D2 program, and they really start to refine some of the things, she, I would not be surprised to see her on the leaderboard eventually in some defensive and offensive statistics at the, in the nation D2 at the D2 level.
Absolutely. And joining a list of Maine girls who have been going to Bentley over the last 3 or 4 years, continuing that Bentley training on the girls' side now. And also a former big timer. If you guys haven't checked out the podcast with Amanda, she was on this past summer. A really, really great story. You guys can check that one out as well if you haven't listened to that one yet. Let's go to number 3. Who do you got?
I got Camille Clement from Greeley. Has a couple gold balls in the trophy case already coming into her senior year. Ran into a tough Marshwood team when they were the top dog last year, and just didn't have the best shooting game. But I feel like they're going to come back strong this year in the A ranks. She's committed to Northeastern. Following two sisters that went D1 in front of her. Dad running the Firecrackers program, and I feel like she is just probably the number one shooter in Maine, left-handed, and just knocked down most of the time. You never want to leave her open, and she's gotten better off the dribble as well. So.
And Ben has said that she's gotten even better as a shooter, if that's possible, over the summer. She's just automatic with it. And also another former big timer. If you haven't checked the episode with Camille, we got that one too. So all kinds of former big timers here on the list. Let's go to number 4. Who do you got?
I got the other Portland star, Jemima Motima. She is another outstanding athlete with a great story. And she's headed to Northeastern with Camille. And she just has the smoothness and the flair for scoring. Strong rebounder, good defender, especially in the passing lanes. But man, when she takes off anywhere in the paint, it's going to be. She has the potential to finish in a spectacular fashion, and unlike most girls that you've ever seen in Maine, and get her. She's going to finish with her hand up at the back, in the backboard, on layups and fast break finishes, and just a great combination with her and Amanda this year is going to be tough to stop. So.
Yeah, I saw the footage. I'd never seen her play. I saw footage from the top 30 camp this summer, and I just remember being like, oh, what is this? Like, the athleticism is just unmatched in Maine. And like you said, the way she finishes at the backboard, like it's incredible. And another reason why Portland is going to be tough with those two girls that you just mentioned, 2 of the top 4 girls that you named, being on the same team, playing at Portland, that's probably going to be the team to watch, I would think, this winter. Yeah. Wow, there's not going to be a gold ball being crowned now, but still, they would have been the team, I think, that would have been favored to win, right?
Right, exactly.
Number 5, who you got?
I got Sarah Talon from Wyndham. It was tough not putting her higher, just based on her athleticism and skill level. But I feel like the 4 incoming seniors they've won, they've put up the numbers, they've received the awards, and she's right there. And I mean, by the end of the year, she may prove that she's number 1 overall. She's got that level of talent and skill and drive. Headed to UMaine, already committed to UMaine, and left-handed. Saw a video the other day of her putting down a little ball and dunking it at the gym the other day, which is crazy for a 5'9" girl. She's really progressed. She's really gotten a lot better. She puts a lot of time on her skill level with various trainers and just on her own. And I can see her being incredibly tough for opposing defenses to stop this year as a junior.
I think just the true definition of a baller, right? Like, it just seems like she's just always in the gym, whether it's by herself or playing against other people, like just always in the gym, looking to get better. And from what I've heard, she's made tremendous leaps this summer. So definitely.
Yeah. She's one of those players that I like the mentality too. It's like when she catches the ball, she's always going to try to do something, whether it's score, which should be, in Maine for her, as talented as she is, probably should be score first. But she also is a willing creator as well, and a good teammate. But just that mentality, like you can't stop me. I'm going to get a bucket. I love to see that out of people that have put the time in, and have that ability. So
she had a great summer. Top 30 camp MVP, top 30 camp queen of the court, and big time on the Big Time Hoops podcast appearance too. She was on there as well. Go check out the episode with Sarah if you haven't checked out that one. So
just a really, really great kid. She's a great person as well.
Absolutely. So we're up to number 6. So you got in the top 5. That's deep. Like that is deep. So let's see how the rest of the top 10 rounds out here. Number 6, who you got?
I got Grace Ramsdell from Wells, state champion last year. She's she's I would say she's a big forward in girls hoops, but she can step out and hit a perimeter shot as well. Very tough around the hoop, skilled scorer. Think she'll take her game to another level this year, without her sister around. And she's just very strong, very solid, dependable player, and a champion. So you can't go wrong with those types of kids.
Yeah, good summer too. Good showing at the top 30 camp. Number 7, who you got?
I got Margaret McNeil from Yarmouth. She is probably goes a little under the radar. I think she's probably, arguably at moments she could be, top 5 in skill level. She's long. She's, probably close to 5'10", 5'11", if not taller than that. And can play point guard, make some nice passes with either hand, score from anywhere. And Yarmouth had a pretty good year last year. I think if she played with the same energy and ferocity as some of the girls in the top 5, she'd have a chance. She's somebody that would have a chance to make a jump up there. But we'll see. She's still a good player. So
number 7.
We're at 8.
Oh, my bad. Lost track again. There's so many girls. There's so many talented girls. I'm losing track. Number 8.
We're at 8. I got Logan Brown from Brunswick. Really skilled scorer, guard. I think she's going to be a junior this year, I believe. Yeah, she's going to be a junior this year. And somebody that I think has missed some time. I think she missed tier camp, and dealing maybe with an injury or something or sickness. So I didn't get to see her at tier camp, but I've got her there based on her first couple of years of high school ball and just how strong she was there. So,
number 9.
Number 9, Sloan Genevan from Falmouth, who is a very, very talented scorer. Going to be a junior this year. And basically she's a kid that I think is a little passive comparatively to what I just mentioned about Sarah, as far as, being aggressive in a way, to the point that it matches your skill set. I think she could stand to really be in attack mode a little bit more in her, and you would see some bigger numbers from her. But had some good team success. Falmouth pulled the upset last year. I think they were the ones that beat Kennebunk in the tournament last year and knocked them off early. And they were young last year. Sloan and Anna Turgeon, two young sophomores that combined to really put Falmouth over the top there. But she's one that could be fighting for the top spot if she wants it, or come close to that top spot in her class if she really, really wanted to push for it. So
the last one in the top 10 for the South.
I got Chelsea Graver from Greeley, point guard, really strong on the ball, gets where she wants to, really good distributor. And she's going to be setting up a lot of those Camille Clement 3 balls this year. But she can also, she's really going to. I think her own scoring numbers will bump up this year with Brooke Obar going on to Bentley and vacating some of that scoring from last year.
Absolutely. So a very deep list in the South, very top heavy, a lot of seniors at the very top. But if you look at the names are below that, like it's just going to keep coming, right? Like it's just like the South is just going to keep reloading and they're just going to keep pumping out talent year in and year out. Give me some names that could maybe creep into the top 10 here with a very strong season.
Yeah, I mean, this is somebody that I haven't seen a lot of. I've actually only seen her one time in person, but it was in a tournament game for Deering, and she didn't really have a lot else around her. Unfortunately, Deering squad's been a little down as far as overall talent in the last couple of years. Hopefully that's going to change soon. But Nyabanya Leah from Deering, I think she's going to be a junior this year, or she might be going to be a. Hold on. I think she's going to be a junior this year, guard, and she really had a nice handle. Could score for anywhere, get to the basket, and I'm really interested to see where if we have a season where where her game's gone. I haven't had a chance to see her since then, but I was really intrigued watching her in that game against good competition, and how she was still able to carry a lot of the scoring load with a lot of defensive attention on her. So,
and how about someone just completely under the radar?
Completely under the. I can't go with. I don't know about somebody completely under the radar, but I've got somebody from our friend Lon Berthume's team and Gorham, Adele Neto. She's a really good shooter, good defender, and I think she's going to be one of the big reasons why Gorham is successful if we have a season this year.
Absolutely. Bunch of great names right there. I misunderstood when we're doing the game plan here. So we went about it in a little bit different way than I had anticipated. So I know we still got the top 5 for categories and the top 15 overall. Is there anything else you want to break down before we get to some of those categories?
I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job. I mean, I could go down to and give some of the younger players let's go down. Let's go down to the class of 2023.
All right.
And kind of give and fill out that list. I've already mentioned, some of these players, but I think people are interested in kind of who's next. And sometimes when you're jump from your freshman sophomore year, is that really that year where you go from kind of learning the ropes to really being, for some of these girls, being relied upon as a hub, offensive hub, or a star, depending on what program you're in. So we could jump down there.
Yeah, I was going to say we do it on the website. We do it on the page. We got next Wednesdays where we highlight up and comers. So let's do that on the podcast here. We got next. Who are some of these up and comers from the class of 2023 that may be busting out this winter?
Yeah, I'll run down. I'll just start at the top, and we've already touched on some of these players, so I'll just start at the top of the list and just give some names, and then we'll talk about a few of the players after them. Number 1 in 2023, I've got Lizzie Gruber from Gardner. Number 2, Sierra Carson from Oxford Hills. 3, Sloan Genevan from Falmouth. 4, Nyabanya Leah from Deering. 5, Elise McNair from Old Orchard Beach. 6, Abby Quinn from Bangor. 7, Bella McLaughlin from Hamden. 8, Jade Lehman from Bucksport. 9, Emmeline Streams from Bangor. 10, Anna Turgeon from Falmouth. 11, Audrey Mackey from Oceanside. 12, Nevaeh Bello from South Portland. 13, Hannah Cook from Thornton Academy. 14, Maddie Russell from Southern Rustic, and 15, Cameron King from Nokomis.
So a lot of those teams, or a lot of those players in play for teams that are going to be programs in the hunt, right? You got a lot of girls in there that are not just going to be just playing just to play. They're going to be playing in some big games with a chance to win a state championship and compete. Anyone you want to touch on that we haven't touched on already? Because, I mean, a lot of those girls you already named, either in the north or south. Anyone else you want to just give some love to or just speak to real quick?
Yeah, I would say, Jade Lehman was somebody that I saw at last year's tier camp that had a strong game, could score with either hand, and I think as a sophomore this year, she'll be looking to do more, and eventually she'll be, trying to get Bucksport back in the hunt.
Well, we got to clear something up. Maybe we can get some help on this. So I did feature her on the Instagram page for We Got Next Wednesdays. I was told that she moved to Herman.
Oh,
so she may be playing for Herman this year, which would bolster their chances to get back to possibly a state game if there was a state game.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Herman has a lot of talent, and she would fit in really well there if that's true. I hadn't heard that, so yeah. That'd be big news.
Someone tipped me off that she's in Herman now, but I can't confirm it for sure. But that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that'd be a great addition for them, and they're very balanced group. So it'd be really make it even harder to key on any of those players if she was in the mix there.
Definitely.
Nevaeh Bello from South Portland, unfortunately she tore her ACL and missed most of her freshman year, and spent a lot of time rehabbing to get back from that. She probably would be higher, but I know she loves the game. She'll continue to work hard. I can see her moving up the rankings eventually. And Maddie Russell from Southern Rustic, that's where I graduated from, and she has been tough. Already got a state championship under her belt as an 8th grader. Got back to a state game as a freshman. I don't see Southern Rustic's success going anywhere. They're still loaded with young talent, and she'll be really tough. For them, she's a great defender. And there's a couple girls I'll mention that I didn't mention on the rankings. Sage Fortin from Winthrop, really tough point guard that I really like her game. She's tough. And Savannah Nash winner from Marshwood. They had their great run last year in Class A. Knocked off Greeley. She's a nice shooter. She had a nice showing at tier camp this year, and someone that I think as a shooter and as a player, any coach would love to have. It seems like she's really tough as well. So
a lot of great talent. Like I said, it's just gonna, as these girls move up, like that senior class is always gonna be stacked because there's just so many kids below just ready to make that leap and keep it going forward. So anyone else you want to touch on? Anyone else under the radar across the entire state? I love these under the radar highlights that we give here.
Let's see. I mean, try to go. Let's go back to the senior class. Some of the kids that I didn't mention. There's this big from South Portland, Cora Boothby Aquilo, who's like 6'4", 6'5", that I really hasn't got a chance to really shine for them. She's had spot moments. I think she's dealt with some injuries, but if they can find a way to really like get her the ball in advantageous situations, she could be really tough. Libby Fleming from Bangor in the senior class is really tough. That she's Andrew and Matt Fleming's sister. She should have a strong year for Bangor. Molly Obar from Greeley, Brooke Obar's sister. really should step up and have a bigger role for them this year. Player that I really like from Maranacook, Gabrielle Green, bigger player, puts up some really nice stat lines from Maranacook. I could see her surprising and really being one of the better statistical players in the state with her teammate Anna Drillin. Let's give love to another player from Washington County, Emily Curtis, big from Woodland. It's really tough to stop. I mean, in Class D, I just can't see her D. I don't know what Woodland's in these days, but I can just see her just being a really tough matchup for anyone. And individually, I mean, I would say you'd probably have to throw a couple people at her, to successfully slow her down at that level. Go down to the junior class, throw out another couple names. Go with Maya Cooney from Nokomis, really strong shooter for them. And let's go with man, there's so many, and it's tough to differentiate from a lot of them because they're all very solid players. Mackenzie Melendez from Thornton Academy was a really good point guard. Had a strong showing at tier camp. Just smart, tenacious, knows the game, and that's a couple from each class that we didn't really touch on in the rankings. So
Yeah,
hoping to get a chance to see a lot of these girls and really adjust this and give some credit. And we'll have some more podcasts where we talk about who's doing well and who's really showing up once the season gets started. So.
Yeah. Just a lot of depth. And I feel like I see this a lot, especially with the girls from Maine, is you just see a lot of these girls wind up at colleges and make all conference teams and like names that you don't necessarily see like on all state teams and stuff like that kind of fly under the radar in terms of that level, but just go on and have excellent college careers. And it's no different right now, just talent everywhere. So
yeah, I think that's because just some of the programs are so strong for some of these girls programs year in, year out. And there's only so many points you can score. So some of these girls accept lesser roles as far as not getting up the shots that they might be able to, and then but there's a college coach that sees them, loves their game, and in the college there's the shot clock, just the faster pace. They're gonna get a little bit, a few more opportunities throughout a game, and continue to work on their game and coming out of those strong programs. And, like you said, that all of a sudden they're doing stuff that you never saw from even at the high school level. So
absolutely. It's going to be fun when we do the fantasy draft. There's a lot of depth. We might have to add a second round to get some great second round value picks just because of the depth that we have out there.
Yeah. I'm interested to see, how the fantasy draft goes and who, some of the players that other people, the other drafters are really in love with. So
absolutely. So before we get to our top 15 for across the entire state, let's get to a couple top fives here. So got a couple categories we'll run through. Doesn't necessarily need to be in an order, but we'll go with shooters. I want your top 5 shooters across the state. Who do you have in there?
I mean, you got to go with Camille Clement, obviously, from Greeley. Just a knockdown shooter and just has made so many big time shots in her career already. I'll go Peyton Grant on there from Dexter. Very consistent shooter. Go with Allison Alley from Stearns, who can really put up numbers, and go with Macy Beals from Central Aroostook as well. And That's 4. Let's go with, man, this is tough. Bunch of good shooters left out there. Let's go with Faith Stroberg from Prescott.
There we go. County on that list twice right there. I like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we got shooters in the county.
That's what we do.
That's never going to change. So.
Yeah. You know, we got to talk to Ben and see if he can add a skills competition and a 3-point shootout to his camp next summer.
There we go.
So we can actually crown the best shooter in the state. Let's go with shooting's fun. Let's go to defense though. Who's going to lock you down? Top 5 in the state. Who would you go with?
Yeah, I mean, I got to put Amanda Kamantu from Portland on there. Just so tenacious in the passing lanes and on the defensive boards. I got to go with Sarah Talon. She is just someone. I could see her. She's a really good shot blocker for a guard. She's so long and athletic. I can see her pinning somebody on it like LeBron chase down style this year. No doubt about it. And she gets after it the whole game. So I got to put her in there. Lizzie Gruber, just for her shot blocking. Not just for her shot blocking, but she just, it's really hard to score in the paint on her. And so that's 3. Let's go with Sophie McVicker from Calais. Calais is always super tough in the girls' ranks defensively, and she's one of the big reasons why. And then I'll go with Sierra Carson from Oxford Hills. I just think her toughness on both sides of the ball is going to be a big reason why Oxford Hills is right back in the mix this year.
The thing I like about that list too is like those are girls that are considered some of the best in the state, where they play both sides of the ball, right? Not just scorers, but also get after it on the defensive end, which you like to see right there. So, we'll do one more top 5 here. Let's go with creators / playmakers. You need someone to make a play, whether it's scoring a bucket or making the right pass. Who are your top 5 in this category?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jemima Motima from Portland on this one. Just 'cause she gets anywhere she wants on the court. Portland actually has a really strong group, besides these players this year. I mean, they're going to get a lot of the credit, but they've actually been grooming a whole group that's been coming up with these girls that's strong as well. So she's going to have a lot of options when the drive and kick game is really strong. Couple of the younger girls I think that are really strong in this area. In the sophomore, I'm going to go down to the sophomore class and go with Bella McLaughlin from Hamden. She really, really impressed me at tier camp. Just her pace with the ball and her distributing. She's somebody that by her senior year, I think, could remind you of a Zach Ray, where she's just always making the right play for her teammates and just calm and just knows how to like run, the coach wants this play and the ball to go here, and she's going to make it happen. And if the play breaks down, she's still going to make a play out of that, just that heady point guard style player. And another player that's right down the road from her, neighboring town, is Emmeline Streams from Bangor, who I feel, very similarly about. So you got two point guards in the Bangor area right there that are going to rack up assists over the next couple of years, and they've got some talent around them to pass to. So that it makes life a little bit easier for them. And then I'll go with Maddie Russell from Southern Rustic. I feel like she's somebody that could average 25 points a game but she's just so unselfish. She's always going to kick it ahead, or hit the open shooter, which they have a lot of scoring options on that team as well. So that's three right from that strong sophomore class that we talked about. And then I'll go back to Chelsea Graver in the junior class for Greeley, as that person that sets the table, as well as anyone, I think, in Maine, this in the coming season. So,
Like it. Can't go wrong there with any of those choices right there. And like you said, like a lot of underclassmen too. Like it's just so much talent spread
yeah.
across the state and at the different grades too. So
I mean, something you see out of those girls in the sophomore class is, you see them working with the best trainers, and just learn with people that were point guards or just know or were heady, smart players, that are giving that knowledge and imparting that wisdom on them, and you can just see it, and helping them flourish in that, running the offense and knowing where the ball is supposed to go and having the handle to get anywhere on the court to create those opportunities.
absolutely. Let's get to it. That's what we're here for. Your top 15. This is what I want to know. This is what I've been waiting for the entire episode, to find out how it all shakes out. Because as we mentioned, there's so much talent across the state, across the different grades. I want to know your top 15, regardless of class, region. If we can, let's work our way backwards, starting from 15.
All right. At 15, I've got Emily Strawn from Lewiston. We talked about her a little bit in the North region. I feel like she's going to have the keys to the Lewiston offense this year, and I feel like she can get where she wants to go. Has the ability to be a strong defender. And I really hope she gets the chance to do that this season.
Right.
So she was at 15. So 14, I've got Hannah Richards from Old Town. Talked about her obviously before, in the North region. Is just a strong overall player who can get you buckets, help you get stops, and is going to be a part of what hopefully will be a good Old Town run this year. And at number 13, I've got Allison Alley from Stearns. Great scorer. You got to guard her as soon as she comes across half court, which makes it tough because that if she gets by that line, she's got a lot of space. Strong passer as well. So she's my 13th player. At number 12, I've got Molly Obar. She's kind of a glue player, but from what Ben tells me, she's really improved, and she is going to step right into one of those lead spots for Greeley this year, which should be another championship caliber club. At number 11, I've got Grace. I got Sophie McVicker at number 11. Tough guard from Calais, going into her senior year. Number 10, I've got Peyton Grant from Dexter. Number 9, I've got Sierra Carson from Oxford Hills. Number 8, Grace Ramsdell from Wells. Number 7, Lizzie Gruber from Gardner. Number 6, JC Christopher from Skowhegan. So now we're at the top 5.
Here we go.
I got, and this, this was really tough. All these players are already committed to college programs. I've got Sarah Talon at number 5, Jamima Motima from Portland headed to Northeastern at number 4. Camille Clement headed to Northeastern from Greeley. Amanda Cabantu, number 2. Number 2, Amanda Cabantu from Portland going to Bentley. And number 1 overall, Emily Archibald headed to Providence from Kennebunk High School.
So much talent, and not just at the top, like spread out throughout that 15 right there. I got no surprises there. That's pretty much how I would have expected it to go. I think the biggest toss-up is when it comes to the Portland girls. Like, who do you have higher than who?
Yeah,
I think it also just depends on what your flavor is, on what you like, what you're looking for. But just really a toss-up when it comes to those two.
Yeah, I mean, Jabima's committed to a D1 school. Amanda's committed to a D2 school. So on that alone, you could be like, one's got to be better than the other. But as far as Maine high school hoops and everybody can have different rankings. I mean, they may be ranked differently on another site or somebody else's rankings. But for Maine high school basketball, it's a little bit different. I mean, if you're 6'5", and averaging 4 points a game in Maine high school basketball on a team that's barely in the playoffs, you might be more highly recruited than somebody from the Bangor area that's averaging 18 points a game and up for Miss Basketball. Just because of specific things that college coaches are looking for. And I definitely think Amanda has the talent to play D1. And I don't know what her recruiting situation was like, but Bentley, you can't go wrong with Bentley as an academic and basketball as a place to do both of those, that combination, no matter what. And that that's what every kid's looking for, the right fit.
Yeah.
So as long as you get the right fit, you can't be you can't be upset with that. So
I think it's safe to say that neither one of them is finished products, and it's going to be really interesting to see 4 years from now how it shapes up and what they're doing at that next level. It's going to be fun to watch. And like I said, like we mentioned, Emily Archibald, number 1, the reigning Gatorade Player of the Year, could go back to back 2-time Gatorade State Player of the Year. And I'm curious too. Like looks like there's not going to be an actual state tournament this winter. Wonder if they're still going to be crowning a Miss Basketball, how that will work. So real quick, let's say they do. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but how do you think it would shake out? Because my thought is you got 4 girls at the top, right? Camille, Portland girls, and Emily. The Portland girls are probably going to split votes, right? So then it's probably going to come down to Camille or Emily. And I'm wondering, what you think, how it would play out.
I mean, it's tough because it's, in Maine historically, team success has weighed really heavily into who has won Mr. or Miss Basketball. As you saw last year, Julia won the AA state title, in back-to-back, and it was pretty hard to argue with that, even though, I don't think that she had the best statistical year in the state of Maine. But team success and her ability level together, that played a huge role for her in winning the Miss Basketball thing. And so Emily does not have I don't think she has a state title last year, and she was knocked out early last year. Neither of the Portland girls has a state championship. Camille has 2 already, in the bag, and Greeley has a strong chance to maybe run the table in their schedule this year. So that's a lot of team success. So it'll,
and those two could wind up going against each other in the playoffs too. As Kennebunk and Greeley could actually match up, which could play into it. So it could be interesting if they do crown them as basketball, and if the season has any type of normalcy, how it could all shake out. It could be very interesting.
Yeah, I do feel like it'll come down to those 4 for that vote, because underclassmen can't win that award.
Yeah.
And that you got to be happy as a fan of Maine girls basketball to have 4 girls with that level of talent.
Definitely
up for the award, and it'll be tremendously tough to narrow it down. Usually they narrow it down to 3 finalists. It'll be really hard to say this one this girl is not in that top 3 like that. I don't envy the people that have a vote on that at all. And I think it'll be fun watching their college careers and kind of being like, did they, how did they get it right?
Yeah.
Not that, it's about their high school career. It's an award based on their high school career, but like, we'll see, part of the fun will be following these girls, just like it's fun following Mackenzie Holmes and Anna DeWolf and
Ballin'.
Faith and Belief Lethen at George Washington, and we got Paige Cody at UNH, and that's some of the, and hopefully the other levels of college ball get started and following those careers, and it'll just be fun. Something to talk about in future big time podcasts for sure.
Yeah, no shortage of topics to talk about moving forward here. So, and just for those who may be wondering what the folks at Big Time think, we ran the poll, the Miss Basketball poll a couple weeks back, and Camille beat Amanda in the finals. A very close vote. It was like 20 votes is what separated, and there was like 2,000 votes cast. So it was that close in terms of what the people thought. So let's wait and see what happens. But now that we got the power rankings out of the way, fantasy draft is coming up next. We're going to be recording that hopefully midweek, and that'll be coming out later on at the end of this week here. So we had a lot of fun with the boys. I'm anxious to do the girls. So it'll be a lot of fun to see how that shakes out. So shout out to Trophy Mo for coming through. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, just man, the same thing. I've been feeling it's just I'm hopeful for these kids that they get a chance to have their season. Basketball has been a part of my life in Maine, for a long time now. And I just love seeing each new year, each new crop of kids come through and try to live out their hopes and dreams. And with what my with Trophy Mode, just trying to follow that and give people an idea about their skills and game, their how they play the game, and kind of archive that for the future. And just be a part of pushing Maine basketball forward, just like you are, with and just trying to create some positive momentum, going into what we hope is a season for these kids. So
Absolutely. Real quick, you got any tapes dropping this week?
Yeah, we got a tape dropping tomorrow.
Okay, there we go. There it is. Make sure to see what it is.
I got all the turkey out of my system, so it's time to get back to the hoops.
Back to work, back in the lab. I like it. Shout out to Trophy Mode for coming through for the power rankings. Like I said, fantasy draft coming on later on this week, so stay tuned for that. And it's going to do it for today's episode of Big Time Hoops, the podcast. We'll see you next time. The fantasy draft. We're out.